Hello everyone. Up to the last lecture, we have completed module 1 of Internet of Things. Along with some topics we have discussed in the last classes, like introduction of IoT, along with introduction of IoT enabling technologies, IoT domain specifics, IoT applications. Like some of the topics we already discussed in the last 10 lectures. So now we move into the another important topic, that is IoT and M2M. IoT and M2M. So that is the considered as module 2. So here we have we are going to discuss some topics in module 2, like introduction of M2M, introduction M2M, difference between IoT and M2M. What is IoT? What is M2M? What are the similar advantages, or what are the effects on M2M technologies based on the some specifications. Next to software defined networking, that is SDN. We already know advanced some technologies, software defined networking, and network function virtualization (NFV), along with for IoT. So software defined networking and network function virtualization already existing technologies. So that the applications of both SDN and NFV used in IoT also. So what are the similar advantages or similar applications we are going to develop through the in the IoT. So next, basics of IoT system management with the network configuration and YANG module. So these are the some important topics we are going to discuss in module 2, that is in further. So let's go for basic introduction of IoT and what are the main differences between IoT and M2M. Now we are going to move on that. So first of all, before entering into the differences between IoT and M2M, first, what are the types of communications available in IoT? What are the types of communications in IoT? So here we have IoT is a connection of devices over the internet. We already know. So every device, for example, this is one of the device here. So that device, basically initially it is having no internet connection, no function. So after connecting the internet to the device, so just it can be act as a smart devices. We can operate with in our hand with remote. So that is IoT device. So here the IoT connection of your devices over the internet, where smart devices communicate with each other, exchange data. So after internet connected device, so it can transfer some data to the particular destination type. So the some of the functions after connection of internet, some of the functionality it may done based on the requirement. So some tasks without any human involvement. These devices are embedded with electronics, software, networking sensors, which can help in the communication system. So the communication between smart devices is very important in IoT, as it enables the devices to gather the data, exchange. After collection of data, it can send to the some required destination also, which contribute to success of that IoT product and project. So according to communication type, we have some communications in IoT. The first one, human to communication, M2M communication, mission to human, and human to human communication. So our agenda is here we are going to explain about mission to mission. That means without any human interaction. So the some missions are done the some particular task. So here before that, first we have to know the human to mission or mission to mission, mission to human, and human to human communication. So human to mission communication means compulsory the communication is going on in between human along with the mission. So here, for example, one car The best example for human to mission communication, steering tides in the car. So next one, mission to mission. Mission to mission means compulsory the communication is going in between both only mission and mission. The best example for mission to mission is ATM mission. So when you want to draw the money, just you can insert the ATM into ATM machine, the ATM card insert into the ATM machine. So our details can verify with the server room in which is available in bank only. So the server also one machine, the ATM also one machine. So the interaction between ATM and server room, the communication is going on mission to mission. So that is based on the one type of communication available in IoT. Next to mission to human. Mission to human also one of the communication in IoT. Next to human, just the communication developed through the only our voice only. Hi, hello, our friends, like that only. The communication is going on in between human and the human. So these are the 4 types of communications available in IoT: human to mission, mission to human, mission to mission, and human to human. So our agenda is in order to explain the mission to mission communication. That means only communication developed are going on in between only both mission and mission. The best example for mission to mission is IoT. So these are the some introduction part of types of communications available in IoT. So next one, some introduction points of mission to mission. So here, without intervention of human, the process are done between the machines only. So here the mission to mission communication is a form of data communication that involves one or more entities. One machine or more than one machines can involve to process the data, to gather the data, to exchange the data in between the devices. Not necessarily human interaction or intervention in the process of communication. So M2M is also named as mission type communication, that is M2C in 3G third generation process control. It is different from the current communication models in the ways that it involves. So mission to mission communication could be carried over the mobile network like GSM, GPRS, CDMA, video networks. In the mission to mission communication, the role of the mobile network is largely confined to serve as a transport network. So next, new or different market scenarios. So it can be used in different number of modes, lower cost and efforts. Just compared to other communication, the mission to mission communication is some low cost, then a potentially very large number of communication terminals. So for example, the ATM is here. So the more number of users can used by some depends on the busy networks. So the little traffic per terminal in general. So these are the some important points regarding mission to mission. So what is the main aim of mission to mission? What also named as mobile type communication, MTC in third generation protocol type. Do different market scenarios, low cost and effort, some important points. Next, applications of mission to mission. So we have different kinds of applications of mission to mission technology. So along with the first one, security. So in terms of security, just we have to secure our system, or we have to protect our belongings. So here in terms of security, we have to derive the in terms of surveillance, alarm systems, access control, car driver security. So like that, in different domains, the security we can provide. Next is tracking and tracing. So if you lost your mobile or belongings, so by using IoT mission to mission technology, we can find our belongings. So in the tracking and tracing domain, so here we have fleet management, order management, pay as you drive, asset tracking, navigation, traffic information, road trolling, and traffic optimization and steering. So here we have different tracking and tracing platforms. So in order to develop the process or communication in between them, just we use tracking and tracing application by using IoT platform or M2M platform. Next to remote maintenance and control. In the remote maintenance and control, so here in this room we are having one camera, TV, like that only. So without going there, so just you can operate with remote control. So like that only we have to this is the one of the application. So here in remote maintenance and control, so we have sensors, lighting, pumps, values, elevator control, vending machine control, and vehicle diagnostics centers. Next, in the department of health also, one of the application of machine to machine. So in order to monitor the patients, just in order to measure the parameters like temperature, room temperature, blood pressure, body temperature, like that, in order to measure the some parameters also in the department of health. Monitoring vital signs, supporting the aged or handicapped candidates, web access, telemedicine points, remote diagnostics center. So in these days, some in of the some of biggest hospitals, so the doctors appointments are in virtual only. So they are came into the virtual mode. So just they can observe the patient details, like they can observe the parameters like human temperature, blood pressure, BP, sugar, like that. After that, measuring the parameters only, they can write the tablet description in virtual mode only. So like that, the health department also using M2M as application. Next to payment mode. So in these days, most of the shops in the market, they are using point of sale. So here the payment point of sales, vending machines, and gaming machines also one of the applications of machine to machine. Next to metering. In metering, in order to measure the how much amount of some source we are using, like gas or water or heating, like that, power control, industrial meeting, grid control, like that only, in order to measure how much they are using, how much they are consuming for their needs. Next, manufacturing product also in civil and mechanical departments also, production chain monitoring and automation. So this is one of the application of machine to machine. Next to facility management system. So in facility management system, in order to provide the facilities in home department or building or campus automation, we are using IoT machine to machine domain. So these are the some applications of M2M. So along with low mobility, packet switching, online small data transmissions, monitoring, low power consumption, location specific triggering, time control, and time auto time. So the first one, low mobility. So M2M devices do not move or move infrequently or move only with a certain region only. So first we have to define the certain area of certain range of area. So within that only the mobiles are moving, or in the communication going on. For example, 500 region place I will define. So within that, the 500 meters only they can operate with some as per our requirement. So that is the low mobility application. Next to packet switching. So in terms of packet switching, network operators provide packet switched services with or without an SDN, software defined networking. Next to online small data transmission. In terms of data transmission, mobile tracing devices also frequently send or receive small amount of data also as per our requirement. Next to monitoring. So after sending the data, after receiving the data, we have to monitor the devices. So here, not intended to prevent theft or vandalism, but provide functionality to detect the events. So the next one, the low power consumption, to improve the ability of the system to effectively service M2M applications. Next one, location specific triggering. So in order to locate the location or trace the location to intending the triggering the M2M device is in a particular area, that is wake up the device. So the last but one, time controlled, send or receive data only at a certain predefined period. So we have to define the, for example, 12 milliseconds. So within the 12 milliseconds only we have to send the data, some amount of data. So in 10 milliseconds to 10 milliseconds for receiving, 12 milliseconds for sending. So at particular point or particular time we can allow the sending the data, or a particular time allow the receiving the data for a particular sender or particular destination. So this is the time control, send or receive data at a certain predefined time slots only. Next one, time tolerant, data transfer can be delayed. So in time, even though we are assigning or we are defining the time slots for particular sending the data, receiving the data, so in some cases where the data transfer can be delayed, so that is time tolerant application. So these are the almost 15 applications of are key features of machine to machine. So here starting with security, tracing and tracking, remote maintenance control, health department, payment mode, metering, manufacturing and facility management, along with low mobility, packet switching areas, online small data transmission, monitoring, low power consumption, location specific triggering, time controlled and time tolerance. So these are the some key features of machine to machine communication. So next one, along with after key features, we are going to discuss about architecture and components of machine to machine. So compulsory in architecture we are having some key points, that is M2M device, M2M area network, M2M gateways, M2M communication networks, M2M applications. Along with we have architecture of machine to machine. So this architecture having three domains here: application domain, network domain, M2M device domain. So here in application domain, the communication between M2M application. So this is the client application. Just you can it can develop use M2M application. It can develop the communication. Next to network domain. So here in the network domain, here M2M core device, it connected with the satellites or networks or any other platform. The service, communication is going on between among these devices. Next in M2M device domain. So here the network domain, M2M device domain connected with M2M gateways also. So M2M gateway, it is one of the component of machine to machine. So here this is M2M area network. It connected different devices. So here this is the complete architecture of M2M system. Initially it having three types of domains: application domain, network domain, and machine to machine device domain. So here it can connected through the M2M gateways. So the process of data from one domain to another domain. So we are using here gateways. So this is the complete architecture of M2M system. Some components: M2M device, M2M area network. So that architecture consists components. What are the components? Device, network areas, gateways, communication networks, and applications. Okay. So next some explanation points of architecture and components of machine to machine. So here device capable of replying to request data contained within those devices are capable of transmitting data autonomously. First we have to, our agenda is first we have to send the request to the some server room, so that verify the data and it can get back a response to the client. So the sensors and communication devices are the endpoints. Here the sensors and communication device are the endpoints of M2M application. Generally the device can connect directly to operator's network, or they will probably interconnect using wireless PAN technology such as Zigbee or Bluetooth. So here both are Zigbee and Bluetooth are communication technologies, but the small difference between both Zigbee and Bluetooth is only up to the range of Bluetooth is only 8 meters. The maximum device is 7 devices. Like So in our mobiles also Bluetooth are available. The Zigbee is not available. The Zigbee available 500 meters distance. It can connected any more number of devices. More number of devices. It can connect at a time more number of devices. That is the main difference between Bluetooth and Zigbee. So Bluetooth is only 8 meters distance, 7 maximum devices. But Zigbee is more than 500 meters, half kilometers. It can connect it at a time more number of devices, up to 500 or 600. Any number of devices it can be connected to the such technology. So backhaul to operators network is then achieved via gateways that encapsulate and manage all devices, consequently addressing and identifying the devices. Example, routing of the devices relies heavily on the gateways. So these are the some M2M device points. The devices capable of relaying the request for the data contained within those devices are capable of transmitting data autonomously. Next, here we have some important points regarding M2M device. So M2M area network, M2M communication networks, M2M application. We already discussed in the first slide. So these are the components of machine-to-machine, device, M2M device, M2M area network, M2M communication networks, M2M application. So here M2M area network means domain specific. It provides connectivity between M2M devices and M2M gateways. So for example, personal area network, all personal area network comes under M2M devices and M2M gateways, M2M area network. Next to M2M communication networks, it is considered network domain. So it covers the communications between the M2M gateways and M2M applications. For example, XDLS networks, long-term evolution network, WiMAX, and WLAN, wireless local area networks. The last one, M2M application, it contains the middleware layer where the data goes through the various application services, and it is used by the specific business processing engine. So these are the some explanation for components of architecture. Next, M2M gateway. M2M gateway equipment that uses M2M capabilities to ensure M2M devices interworking and interconnection to the communication network. Gateways and routers, like it act as a routers, it communicate the transmit the data from one domain to another domain by using gateways. Endpoints, gateways or routers are the endpoints of the operators network in scenarios where the sensors and M2M devices do not connect directly to the network. Next, the task of the gateways and routers are twofold. Firstly, they have to ensure that devices of the capillary network may be reached from outside and vice versa. So here the main task of the gateways, how it have ensured that the devices of the capillary network may be reached from outside and vice versa. So these functions are addressed by the access enablers such as identification, addressing, accounting, etc. Identification, addressing, accounting, etc. from the operator's platform and have to be supported at the gateways side as well as. So these are the some important points regarding M2M gateways. Next, some first of all in M2M applications, architecture and components. Next, what are the requirements of to build the M2M communication domain? So here we have 7 types of requirements of machine to machine. So here machine to machine application communication principle, message delivery for sleeping devices, delivery modes, message transmission scheduling, message communication path selecting, communication with devices behind the M2M gateway, communication failure notification. Scalability, abstraction of technology, heterogeneity communication, M2M service capability discovery and array registration, and mobility. So these are the some requirements of machine to machine. The M2M machine shall be able to allow communication between M2M application in the network and application domain, and the M2M device or M2M gateway by using multiple communication, example SMS, GPRS, and IP access. Very to develop the very small applications like short memo service, general packet radio service, and internet protocol address. So this is the application communication protocol. Next, to message delivery for sleeping devices. So here the M2M system shall be able to manage communication towards a sleeping devices also. Next, to delivery modes. The M2M system shall support any cast, unicast, and multicast. Single device, more than one device, more than two device, or one-to-one device, or one or two or more devices. So the and broadcast communication modes, whenever possible a global broadcast should be replaced by a multicast in order to minimize the load on the communication network. Anycast, unicast, and multicast in order to develop the communication modes. So the delivery of message as in unicast or multicast or broadcast, whatever it may be. So the communication developed in between those devices. So this is the delivery modes of M2M delivery requirements of mission to mission. Next, to message transmission scheduling. So compulsory every message within the defined slot only the message will be sent to the communication. Next, the M2M shall be able to manage the scheduling of network access and of messaging. Next, to message communication path selection. So within the path only, defined path only. First we have to define the time slot. Then we have to define the time path selection. So the M2M system shall be able to optimize communication path based on the policies such as network cost, delays, or transmission failures when the other communication path also exists. So we have to transmit the three signals from the source. So every path having one some cost, some policies, cost to transmission delays like that. So within the slot only the message will be transmitted. In some cases already in the path only already some signals are available. So it will take some delay. After getting delay, it will deliver to the destination. So next, communication with devices behind a M2M gateway. So the M2M system should be able to communicate with the devices behind the M2M gateway. Next, communication failure notification. So in process, in going on communication, some of the signals are due to the rains or due to the some system failures, the signals are get back. So at that time only we are getting some communication failure notification. So after getting the failure notification, just we can again send the signal after correction. So M2M applications requesting reliable delivery of a message shall be notified as failure to deliver the message. So these are some requirements. It is compulsory. We have to know the message transmission scheduling, message communication path selection, communication with the devices behind the M2M gateway. Next, communication failure notification. Compulsory, we are going to get some failure notification if the system failure middle of the communication. Next, scalability, abstraction of technology heterogeneous. Scalability, the M2M system shall be scalable in terms of number of connected devices. It can connected minimum number to maximum number of devices. So that is depends on the scalability of the system. Next, to abstraction of technologies heterogeneity. The M2M gateway may be capable of interfacing to various M2M area network technology. It can interface the many number of network area network technology depends on our requirements. Next, to M2M service capability, discovery and registration. So the M2M system shall support mechanism to allow M2M applications to discover M2M service capability offered to them. Next, mobility. So if the underlying network supports seamless mobility and roaming, the M2M system shall be able to use such mechanism. So these are some requirements of mission to mission system. The next one, what are the main difference between IoT and M2M? So the beginning topics are previous topics are what are the requirements, what are the applications, what is the architecture and components of M2M. So now the main topic is difference between IoT and M2M. So here both M2M and IoT involve networking of machines or devices. They differ in the underlying technologies, system architecture and types of application. So they differ from underlying technologies. Underlying technologies means compulsory in embedded system or in IoT, in microprocessor, whatever the blockchain technologies or big data, cloud computing, in other these are all are the IoT enabling technologies. So underlying differ from the technologies, system architecture. So IoT system architecture different, and mission to mission architecture are different. So types of applications. So the applications of both domains are different. So the M2M is also named as Mobile Mission Type Communication (MTC) in third generation partnership project. So M2M is communication could carried over the mobile networks, that is GSM, GPRS and CDM EVDO network. So this is the practical figures of IoT and mission to mission. So here the mission to mission, it is ATM. So just you can insert the ATM to withdraw money. So the our details sent to the server that is located in bank only. So the bank server also system, one of the system mission. So the mission, the ATM also mission to mission. The process is the communication will be developed in between these two missions only. So the best example for mission to mission communication is ATM. Next to IoT. So here we are sitting in a car. So this is the mobile. So the car key just we can operate with mobile only. Here this is best example for IoT. So next in terms of communication protocols, so M2M uses either proprietary or non-IP based communication protocols for communication within the M2M area network or Zigbee or Bluetooth etc. So here the focus of communication IoT usually some protocols here HTTP, COAP, WebSockets, MQ2T, XMPP, DDS, AMQP, etc. So here machines in M2M versus things in IoT. So here M2M can deal with only machines. So here IoT can deals with some things. That means, so here in M2M the communication going on in machines. Here the communication going on things, Internet of Things. The things in refers to physical objects that have unique identifiers, can use sense and gather information, can send to the destination. So external environment to other internal physical asset. So M2M system in contrast to IoT typically have homogeneous machine type with the M2M area network. So here the main thing you have to remember for difference between M2M and IoT. So M2M can deal with the machines. So IoT can deal with the things here. So some of the software in terms of software versus hardware emphasis. While emphasis of M2M is more on hardware with embedded modules, the emphasis IoT is more software. For example, software means, for example, here by using software only we can operate the key with our mobile. So that's why here the emphasis of IoT is more software. So IoT device can specify specialized software for sensor data collection, data analytics and interfacing with the cloud through the IP based communication. In terms of data collection and analysis, just you can gather the data, it can send the data, it can analyze the data. M2M data is collected at a point of solutions, often on on-premises storage infrastructure only. It contrasts to M2M, the data in IoT is collected in the cloud only. Okay, so these are the some differences in terms of hardware and software endpoints and data collection and analysis. So these are the main differences between point-wise differences between IoT and M2M. So these are the basically 12 points are. So in terms of the first in basis of intelligence. in terms of intelligence. So the devices have objects that are responsible for decision making. In IoT, so based on the devices performance only, we can decide the just what we do based on the particular task. So in machine to machine, some degree of intelligence is observed in this. Next, in basis of connection type used. So in terms of connection type used, so the connection is via network and using various communication types like Zigbee, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, whatever it may be. So here M2M, the connection is a point to point. So server to server, server to machine, or point to point. Next, communication protocol used. What are the communication protocols used in IoT? What are the communication protocols used in machine to machine? So here in IoT, network protocols are used as HTTP, FTP, and Telenet. So these are the three communication protocols used in IoT. Next, in machine to machine, traditional protocols and communication technology techniques are used. Traditional protocols means SDN, software defined networking, and network function virtualization. So these both topics are coming in the next class. So some traditional protocols and communication technologies are used. So in terms of data sharing, data is shared between other applications that are used to improve the end user experience. Based on the end user experience only, we can share the data among the devices. So here data is shared with only the communication parties only. So in terms of internet, internet connection is required for communication. So compulsory every device connected with the internet that can act as the IoT device only. In home application, either TV or fridge or any other electronic gadget, compulsory that can connected with internet only. It is called a IoT device. So here compulsory internet connection required for communication. So in order to store or in order to see the any device, the compulsory the internet it needs. So here the devices are not dependent on the internet. So without internet, we can use the machines based on our requirement. Next, types of communication. It supports data cloud communication. It supports point-to-point communication. So in IoT, cloud communication means cloud computing one of the IoT enabling technologies. So compulsory after connecting the any device, it can share some information. So we have to store some shared information. After storing, we can analyze the data. So compulsory we need to store. Means compulsory we need some cloud space. So it supports cloud communication. Point to point cell. So we can insert the ATM, we can draw the money. So we don't want to store any information. So just we can when we insert the ATM, just it can authenticate or it can verify our details to give the money. So no need to store any data in machines. So here it supports cloud communication in IoT. So in machine to machine, it supports point-to-point cell communication. Next, in terms of communication system, it involves both hardware and software. Communication. So it mostly hardware-based technology. So machine to machine, machine is the hardware machine, server also hardware machine. So here car is the hardware, our mobile software is the software. In mobile we are using software. So combination of hardware and software with some mechanism. So here these are the in terms of computer system, the differences between IoT and machine to machine. Next, some scope. What are the scope of the IoT? A large number of devices, scope is very large. Limited scope for devices. So limited number of devices connected at the machine to machine. Next, to business type used. This type of business, business to business. Business to business or business to customer or customer to business, customer to customer. We have 4 types of business system. So here in among 4, so here we have only 2 types of business types used, business to business and business to customers only. So here for M2M, business to business only business type used. Next, to open application programmable interface. So here it supports open API integrations here. Application API means application in peripheral interface, supports for open API integration. Next, there is no support for open API, so it cannot used in some other third party. So here the support open API integration means the IoT device can use in anywhere, depends on the requirement. But the for example here ATM, for ATM machine, so those who are having ATM card only chance to draw the money. So here it supports for API like that only. So this is the open API support. Next, it requires generic commodity devices, compulsory things. Devices means things, IoT things. So here specialized device solutions. Compulsory defined devices only can use in machine to machine communication. In IoT, generic commodity devices. Next, centric. In centric, in terms of centric, information and service centric. So here communication device centric. Next, approach use. Which type of approach you can use? Horizontal enabler approach. So here vertical system solution approach. Next, components. What are the components used in IoT? Devices, sensors, connectivity, data processing and user interface. So these are the some process starting from sensors to interface. Next, to devices, area networks, gateways and application server. Application server means these all are machines only. Next, examples: smart variables, big data and cloud, etc. Example for M2M, sensor data and information, etc. So these are the complete differences between IoT and machine to machine in terms of intelligence, which type of communication types used, which type of communication protocols we are using, data sharing, how much data will be shared, internet, whether internet is required or not, types of communications, whether it is support for cloud or some other cloud for IoT, point to point for machine to machine. Next, computer system, along with scope, business type, business to business or business to customer, customer to business, customers to customer, these type of 4 types of business techniques. So here open API, which type of API, application peripheral interfaces, it support for API integration, but there is no support for API. That means no other third party will involve to share the information. Already told. So those who are having ATM card, they are going to transfer withdrawal money. Next, it requires generic commodity devices, centric information approach used, components, some example. So these are the differences between IoT and M2M. So remaining continue with the next class. So these are the some references I referred for this lecture, some Geek Force, some textbook, Arshdeep and Baga, some tutorials also we referred. Remaining continue with the next class. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.